If I look tired, it's because I'm working off of 5 hours of sleep. What is going on, everyone? This is your boy Will, and I am back to give you my list of the top 10 most anticipated movies of 2019. Now, keep in mind, this is my list. This is just a personal list of the movies I plan on seeing in this year of 2019. It's a long one. I've got a couple honorable mentions I'm going to breeze right through, and then we'll get directly into our top 10. Everybody still with me? Good to go? Let's go. Alright, so we're going to start with the honorable mention. I've kind of clustered this first group together. Our first honorable mention is going to go to the Disney live action movies. This consists of Aladdin, Lion King, and Dumbo. I didn't want to give each one a spot because honestly, I don't have an issue with the live action Disney films. I really don't. I think it's just Disney's way of just kind of making extra money or trying to redo some of their classics but not take away from the classics. The classics are always going to be there. In fact, Lion King and Aladdin are my two favorite Disney animated films. It's pure animation. I've always loved those movies. I cried during Lion King. Who didn't when that movie came out, when they killed Mufasa? And if that's a spoiler, come on. Anyway, I don't know where these are going to fall. They're rather going to fall in the ways of Jungle Book, or they're going to rather fall in the ways of Beauty and the Beast. What I mean by that is that Jungle Book was kind of a retelling, but with some appropriate changes to the original story from the animated movie. Or like with Beauty and the Beast, that was basically a shot-for-shot remake of Beauty and the Beast. So I've got those three clustered together as my honorable mentions for Disney. My next honorable mention is actually New Mutants. New Mutants I was looking forward to seeing last year in 2018, but then it got pushed back like 3 times. So it's now coming out late 2019. This is on the list basically because I'm curious if it's actually even going to come out. I mean, let's be real. This and Dark Phoenix has been pushed back a couple good times, and I just want to see if they actually come out. It looks cool from the original trailer that I saw. Now, I know they've done reshoots. I have no idea what the final product's going to look like, but I'm going to see it. Sure, why not? Toy Story 4 is another honorable mention for this year, and this is a hot take. I wasn't a huge fan of Toy Story 3. I thought the ending was fine. I thought it was great that they wrapped up the story, and I actually really liked the first Toy Story movie. But the other two movies I don't think are as good as the original. Everyone loves Toy Story 3. Everyone says they teared up and cried because of the potential ending of Toy Story 3. I thought it was a good ending, but then you're coming back and doing Toy Story 4 as a money grab? Sure. It's really only on this list because it's Toy Story and because it's a huge franchise, and I'm probably going to try to check it out this summer when it comes out. Besides that, okay. How to Train Your Dragon 3: The Hidden World. That one almost made my top 10 list, but it does fall in honorable mentions for me. It is the conclusion of the How to Train Your Dragon series, which I really love. I love the character of Toothless and Hiccup. I think their relationship is fantastic. I was a huge fan of the first movie. The second one was okay. It wasn't great, but it was fine. This one I'm hoping really knocks it out of the park because it seems like it will be the finale of the series. And we'll just have to wait and see what happens, how they close out the series. Also, the director is actually very handsome. I don't know why I threw that in there. But anyway, next, Joker. I was very leery about Joker. I didn't, when they first announced that they were doing a standalone Joker movie, I was like, why? Doing a villain origin story, I don't think is really going to work out. But the pictures and some of the marketing material that has leaked out from shooting the movie, Joaquin Phoenix looks insane as the character, and I'm actually kind of curious. So it made my honorable mentions. Maybe it's going to be good. I think it's going to be standalone from everything else because that's kind of the direction that DC is going with their standalone movies. My last honorable mention actually is another one that almost made my top 10 list, Men in Black International. I know. A Men in Black movie in 2019, but this one actually has Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson. They are reuniting from their Thor Ragnarok. And the trailer looked good. It was funny. It was entertaining. The action actually looks enjoyable. Chris Hemsworth can do comedy, and he does it really well. I'm curious to see how Tessa Thompson does in this movie, because it looks like she's playing the straight man, while Chris Hemsworth is going to be your funny guy. So it's a buddy cop movie. It's bringing back some nods from the original trilogy, but it's not going to have Will Smith or Tommy Lee Jones in it, which I'm totally fine with. This is kind of a complete reboot. And, well, reboot sequel, because they are referencing the previous events, which is good, but they're not going to be held down to them. So I think it's going to be fun. Men in Black International, you're my final one on my honorable mentions list. Alrighty! Honorable mentions out the way. Let's get right into the top 10 list. Now, this is my personal list. These are positioned in a way that goes from excitement to I'm about to blow. Yeah, you get what I mean. Anyway, so here we go. And again, if you agree or disagree, comment down below. Let me know what you thought too. Number 10 is going to John Wick Chapter 3. John Wick, Keanu Reeves kills it in this role. I love the movies. They are filled with nonstop action. The choreography is beautiful. It's not super over-the-top violence, even though it kind of is. In my opinion, it's not super over-the-top. But it's done in such a beautiful way in terms of how the choreography just flows, the action flows, the set pieces between some of the assassins is very unique. I remember in John Wick Chapter 2, there's the sequence with Keanu Reeves and Common's character, and they're literally trying to shoot each other in a crowd of people, and no one notices. I thought that was brilliant. This is going to conclude the John Wick trilogy, and it's going to be interesting to see, especially where they left us off in Chapter 2, how he survives. So, number 10, John Wick. Awesome. Number 9 is a redo from last year. It's Xmen Dark Phoenix. This was my number 10, I believe, on my 2018 list, but then that was right before the information came out about 20th Century Fox selling to Disney and that whole process. So this has been moved back twice. It was really supposed to come out on Valentine's Day weekend, and now it is coming out in the middle of the summer. This is a little bit higher on my list this year compared to last year because of all the Disney Fox stuff, and being that this and New Mutants are probably going to end the current run of X-Men movies before Disney inevitably reboots the movies for the MCU. So the trailer looked good. I did a trailer reaction. I'll put a link down in the description below. And I think it's going to be a nice send-off for the characters. I loved X-Men First Class. I thought Days of Future Past was really good. And then with Apocalypse, unfortunately, I think the whole jumping multiple decades thing kind of screwed up with the continuity, and it just kind of made things look weird when you're watching it on screen. But I'm looking forward to Xmen Dark Phoenix. Let's see if they go out with a bang. And if they can do it right from trying to do X3. Number 8 is going to the Lego Movie 2, the second part. The first Lego movie I enjoyed. I actually really like Lego Batman a lot. This is a true sequel to the first Lego movie. My only gripe with the first Lego movie was the ending where they kind of shoehorned in Will Ferrell and his son to try to make it more than it needed to be. Just stick to the Legos, because that worked for Lego Batman, and it should be a fun movie. Just leave it at that. Okay, so number 7 on my list is kind of low, but it's Spider-Man Far From Home. This is going to be the first movie after Avengers Endgame. It's kind of going to set up the rest of the MCU for the next few years, according to what Marvel and Disney has said. This one is very interesting because your main character is currently dead. And that's not a spoiler. If you haven't seen Avengers Infinity War, I'm sorry. Why are you watching this video? Most likely you've seen it a bunch of times. But yeah, he's currently dead, and we know he's coming back in Endgame, but you don't want to say that because of marketing, because you don't want to screw up Avengers Endgame. So how are you going to market this movie when it comes out literally 2.5 months after Avengers Endgame? You're not going to pop a trailer up 2 months before the movie comes out. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do the marketing for Spider-Man Far From Home. We've seen pictures already. We know he's on a field trip in Europe, and he interacts with Nick Fury and Maria Hill. Another spoiler, they come back. And it's just going to be interesting how the marketing for this material might affect Avengers Endgame, but I'm looking forward to it. This is the first introduction of Mysterio being played by Jake Gyllenhaal. I think it's going to be a good movie, but it's just a little bit lower on my list because there's other movies that kind of have me more excited this year. But I love Spider-Man. Hands down. I do. I love him. He's one of my favorites. Stomping in at number 6 is Godzilla King of the Monsters. I did watch this trailer. I've seen the second trailer as well. It looks freaking good. It looks fantastic. I think it's going to be a better movie than the first one. I think they learned in the first one not showing him a lot wasn't necessarily the best idea, but this should be really, really entertaining because we're getting a lot of the classic Toei monsters. We're getting King Ghidorah, Rodan, Mothra. They're all going to be battling for supremacy. And this should lead in nicely to Godzilla versus King Kong. I just still don't know how King Kong's going to compete since he's like here and Godzilla's like here. So, should be good. Looks like a lot of fun. It's got Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things in it. I just don't know what she's going to be doing. Godzilla. We're in the top 5. And number 5 is Detective Pikachu. Okay. I'm a huge Pokemon fan. I've been playing the game since Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow. I've played every generation. This is our first live-action Pokemon movie. Detective Pikachu, I was kind of surprised that they went with that, but looking at the story of Detective Pikachu, because it's based off of a game that was never released in the US, and I think it's a streamlined, straightforward story to introduce people into the world of Pokemon without having to go through the whole young boy walking around the country collecting gym badges and trying to go be the champion. That's pretty generic. I don't know if you can translate that onto screen as easily for people who are not ingrained in the Pokemon story. However, Detective Pikachu is a very short story. It follows a boy looking for his father, and he meets up with a Pikachu that he can understand. Plain and simple, it's a good way to introduce new people into the world of Pokemon, show the creatures, and the creatures look really good. The Pokemon, they look anatomically correct for a Pokemon in the real world without looking terrifying like you see on some of the DeviantArt websites. Ugh. But it looks cute, it looks entertaining. Ryan Reynolds is doing the voice of Pikachu. I just hope he doesn't lean too heavily in like a Deadpool aspect of it and just kind of stays cute and cuddly. Whatever happens, we'll see how it turns out with Detective Pikachu rolling in at number 5. Number 4 is Shazam. Now, this is the only DC movie coming out this year if you don't count Joker. In terms of the continuity that has been set up in the previous DC movies, it does exist in that world, even though I don't think it's going to be heavily tied into it. We saw a couple teasers within the trailer of like Batman's Batarang, or there was a Superman article in there. So these characters exist in this world. However, I think similar to Aquaman, it's going to be relatively standalone. This is the origin story of Billy Batson, a young boy who becomes the hero Shazam with the wisdom of Solomon, and stars Zachary Levi. He is jumping from Marvel to DC. He's playing the titular character of Shazam. It looks like a lot of fun. It's probably going to be DC's most lighthearted movie because it's basically a superhero movie told in the story of Big with Tom Hanks. So it's going to be interesting to see this one. This is pretty high on my list, unlike last year. I think Aquaman was lower on my list. This one looks like it's going to be fun. It's going to be a good one. It comes out in April. It's got a few weeks before Avengers hits, so it will have some time to pick up some steam, and we'll see how it goes. So Shazam. God, for a guy with not a lot of sleep, I'm actually doing pretty good. All right. And keep the superhero train rolling with number 3 being Captain Marvel. This is Marvel's first female-led superhero movie. You're a little late to the party, Marvel, but it looks good. That second trailer really showed off more of the action, showed off more of Carol Danvers' powers. Everything I wanted to see in the second trailer came out, and it looked great. I don't need to see any other trailers. This one is one of our first ones that comes out in March. This one's got a lot to live up to because Marvel has seriously hyped Carol Danvers' character up, especially since that end tag in Avengers Infinity War. It's got a lot to prove, being Marvel's first female-led superhero movie. Wonder Woman had amazing success, and hopefully this one will have it as well. This one leads right into Infinity War. This one's got a little bit of an easier track because it doesn't have to address Infinity War directly, similar to Ant-Man and the Wasp. That one didn't address it until the end, until the post-credit scene of the movie. So this one is definitely going to give us her backstory, her origin, where has she been, what has she been doing, and why is she the one Nick Fury called to save the day after everybody else failed. So, Captain Marvel, number 3. Okay, top 2. This, if you know me well enough, you probably know what these two are, but you might be surprised at the positioning. Number 2, Star Wars Episode 9. As you can see, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. R.I.P. General Leia. I don't know how this is going to wrap up. This one has so many unknown variables. Yes, there was a lot of backlash to The Last Jedi. I personally like The Last Jedi. I understand why people didn't like it. J.J. Abrams is coming back. He is going to direct Episode 9. He is the one who directed The Force Awakens. He's got a lot to deal with. He has to explain, or he has to do right by Carrie Fisher's character of General Leia. Unfortunately, Carrie Fisher did pass away before the release of Episode 8, The Last Jedi. So it was curious to see how they were going to handle her passing. This one takes place a year after The Last Jedi. That has been confirmed by Lucasfilm and Disney. So I think that's how they're going to handle General Leia not being there. And hopefully there's some kind of memorial service or something within the movie. I don't know. This will conclude the Skywalker saga that started with A New Hope. This should conclude it. I think this should be the end of the Skywalkers. The only one left is Kylo Ren. We can assume he's probably not going to come out of it alive. We got Mark Hamill coming back. Apparently, we've got Daisy Ridley, John Boyega, Oscar Isaac. Those are the new ones going forward. We don't know what's going to happen after this because of, like I said, after Solo and the backlash from The Last Jedi. It's going to be interesting to see how they conclude the saga, and then what's next after Star Wars. Are they going to take a break? Are they going to come back? We don't know. So this one is hotly anticipated for me. Being such a huge Star Wars fan, I want them to do a really good ending, but I don't want them to backtrack what they've done. I'm like, you did The Last Jedi. I enjoyed it. Some people didn't. Stick to your guns. Move forward. Hopefully you'll appease more of the masses, but you can't win everybody. Star Wars Episode 9, number 2. Can you guess what number 1 is? I'm sure you can. Number 1, Avengers Endgame. There's no getting around it. This is my most anticipated movie of 2019. This is the finale. First 3 phases of Marvel films. This is it. They're wrapping it up. Some people aren't coming back. It looks good. The first trailer had me salivating so hard. After that ending in Infinity War, you have to wrap it up good. You have to come out strong. Will it make $2 billion like Infinity War did? I'm pretty sure it could, but it doesn't have to. It probably has to. Actually, it probably does have to make $2 billion in order for Disney to be like, yeah, we did it. You guys know Avengers Endgame is coming out. You know that's going to be the biggest movie of the year in terms of box office. But it's possible Star Wars can take that crown. Who knows? It's going to be a race to the top. Will Captain Marvel be a sleeper hit like Black Panther was last year? I don't know. That's the fun thing about these lists, the fun thing about these movies. You don't know what people are going to gravitate to. Who knew that last year Solo was going to be lower grossing than Ant-Man and Venom and Aquaman? Who knew? I knew, because I was like, nah, it's not going to be good. But I digress. Avengers Endgame is my number 1 most anticipated movie of 2019. That is my list. That is my 2019 list. Like last year, I plan on seeing all of these movies. I plan on giving reviews for all of these movies. Some will be spoiler, non-spoiler. Some will just be a quick recap review of the movie. What are you looking forward to in 2019? You know what I'm looking forward to now, but what are you looking forward to? Comment down below and let me know. This has been a crazy 2018, which was a couple days ago. We are now in 2019. We've got a year of movies to check out. Thank you so much for being on this journey with me. This has been a lot of fun. I'm not stopping. I'm still doing this. I'm still going. And I hope you watch these reviews when they come out. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you do like this video or any of my other videos, please like, share, and subscribe. Share them with your friends. Tell people, hey, this guy has a YouTube channel. He likes to talk about movies. I might know him. You might not know him. Follow me on Twitter at TheGeekWill. And till the next one, catch you later.